Good evening and welcome to your program, Money and the Economy. I'm Abdul Fattah Otori. Now, as COVID-19 continues to spread, containment will become harder. Despite this, know that most people may experience COVID-19 with mild symptoms. There are ways to minimize your risks and also help contain the spread of respiratory illness. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Use hand sanitizer if soap is not available. The best step to take after handling money, especially at this time of the coronavirus threat, is to wash your hands and avoid touching your face. As much as possible, go cashless. Getting coronavirus or other respiratory viruses like influenza on your hands only leads to infection when it is transferred from your hand to your mouth, nose, or eyes. Please, let us show understanding under the current situation. It's for our safety. Now, the coronavirus pandemic took the entire world by surprise, leaving everyone unprepared as to what steps to take to address its impact. As fiscal and monetary authorities, as well as other institutions, campaigned for adequate response to the pandemic, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, rose to the challenge with wide-ranging measures to tackle what is today regarded as one of the most devastating pandemics in the history of mankind.
What has this pandemic cost us? Just like other countries, not only has this caused health crisis, of course, there are economic crisis and recession would happen. But as leaders, we have a responsibility to see to it that we work very hard to moderate the health and economic impact of this crisis on our country and on our economy.
The Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, stressing the need for the country to have in place a formidable strategy that could withstand the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. These interventions are here. How much of them are the people accessing? What are the possible challenges impeding people's access to these facilities? Are there solutions to the challenges? Well, these will form our focus on tonight's edition of Money and the Economy. Plus, Harriet Parkinson is on hand to give us up-to-speed report on activities in the business and financial sector for the week. Hi, Harriet.
Hello, Abdul.
I hope you have been staying safe.
Definitely, I have been. We don't have a choice.
We don't.
That would be 400,000 naira, sir.
400,000 naira only. And our chicken change now. Wait here. My countable. 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,250 times.
Mr. Man, so you expect say we all go queue behind you make you count money? Why you not go cashless?
Madam, I beg, this cashless something. Waiting in me, seven now. Tell me.
It means say you not go to carry plenty money join body again, no. That one now upside. Like now, you suppose just use your ATM card for this POS where they here so. It's fast and it's safe too. Now people no go they lick finger they count money again, no.
Is that so?
Yes, sir.
Oh, technology.
This message is brought to you by the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Who is there? Please stay outside, though. Don't come in at all. Show me. I will come out now to see everybody. Ejo, Edron Tabe.
No wonder this man, him waiting outside. But who be this man? Also, what they waiting for him now?
Gentlemen, you are all welcome. As you can see, because of the prevailing situation in the world, no thanks to coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, you see, we are all advised to observe social distancing. That is why you are not allowed to come into my office. Emike, I won't allow anyone to come to my office. He run you. I can't even identify anybody here. Kilon Shele. You cover your face, making it difficult for me to know who is who. Anyway, who is Malam among you?
I therefore here. Gana Hanuna Samana, see my hand for up.
Malam, I does not saw you. Let me hug you now. Let me hug you.
Wallahi, I no agree. Okay? One I want to give me coronavirus make I die. Okay, one baka the cure wallahi. Wallahi, I be bad person.
Malamo. Ogini kwano.
Okay, da Allah make I no calling me anything da Allah. Wallahi, I be bad person. How about da Allah kai?
You should have known that the policy of the social distancing abhors handshaking, hugging, and kissing. At least for now. Oh, Malam sila now.
I don't make kissing Malam. Well, I does not know, sir.
Okay. Whatever it is. Malam, tell me what brought you here. Shongo, I'm listening.
To I wallahi my suya business I don't die finish since this one coronavirus and I come. People I know they agree I come buy suya again.
Oh my God. Your business have been affected by COVID-19 pandemic, Abi, Malam.
Prince Ade, wallahi ba pandemic bane. Me da pandemic kuma? Na corona na make people I know they come again.
Okay. Motigbo, you, Ike, what brought you here?
Thank you very much, Prince Ade. Prince Ade, with this my two naked eyes, him don't see where. In fact, I did here so, I know the sea road. Almost so some now, all of my life is I don't chop and finish what do this in my mouth. Okay, them don't close market. Even the people where they give small money to take enter market, they know they collect. They don't allow me because na cloth they sell. Them say cloth and accessory. They say him no be essential good. Cloth no be essential good. My business don't finish. Okay.
Okay. You can see I'm laughing. Well, first and foremost, it is not Corolla. Malam, it is not coronavirus. It is called coronavirus or COVID-19. See, let me tell you, it is a very dangerous virus and it has a capacity to spread to millions of people within minutes and kill in the same manner. And that is why the government says we should stay at home so that we will not be infected and die like that. Okay.
But hunger, na him they talk about. Hunger, him killing us, him killing children. Business, him don't die finish. Abi Malam.
Wallahi Ike na turu ai tokam. Maganan ka gaskiya ne. Akwai yunwa sosai. Hungry idea kuma idea worry me walwal wallahi.
Okay. What if I say I have good news for you?
Masha Allah. So the Allah make tell us the good news for that.
You see, the Oba of Olosuzu Bank has graciously, proactively, and generously set aside 50 billion naira for those of you whose small businesses have been affected by this COVID-19 pandemic.
Wait, Uzubillahi. To, kai. Atashi da Allah taimaka min. Wayo Allah. Aike ya so me fa. Ya so me da Allah. Yawa, kai.
President.
President. Yes.
Where my own share? I can't wake up from this fainting just like that. Give me my share.
Okay, cool down. See, let me tell you, Jackin somewhere. It is very simple to get the loan. Just apply through your bank to NASA Microfinance with the evidence that your business has been affected by the pandemic. Then you can access the loan. No wahala, no problem at all.
Hey, wait. Corona.
Where are you people going?
I'm coming.
I go take you for loan.
No, can I get?
I don't go access loan.
50B.
No matter.
As always, you can be a part of this conversation. Tell us what you think about the measures put in place by the Apex Bank to insulate the nation's economy from COVID-19 induced impacts. Send us a message via SMS or WhatsApp. The number is 0812-541-9549. That's 0812-541-9549. The central bank unveiled a number of policy interventions aimed at reducing the adverse impact of the pandemic on the economy. Now, how much of these interventions do the people know and what do they think about it? Let's feel the pulse of the people on the streets.
Yeah, I think it's a noble idea, but I think the bureaucracy involved in the implementation is not helping the intended beneficiaries to benefit for it. Like now, we know there are different categories, and NICEDRA is supposed to be the intermediary agency to have access. For crying out loud now, COVID-19 is almost like 3 months since it's affected the world globally. Take, for example, the U.S. government. When they wanted to do their intervention palliative, President Trump sent it to the U.S. House of Rep and House of Senate. Within a week, it was implemented. Within 2-3 weeks, people started receiving their checks. So we have this problem of bureaucracy when it comes to implementation of good government policies, and it's not helping us at all.
What discouraged me was that they asked for collateral. The call for collateral is probably something that will deter a lot of people.
If we get these loans now, like as a person, I got a temporary leave and I'm not getting any source of income. And if I come and get these loans now, where am I going to get the money to pay back these loans?
Some residents in Abuja are sharing their opinions on the interventions by the CBN to cushion the impact of COVID-19.
This is Money and Economy on your radio.
Now, as a demonstration of commitment to moderate the health and economic impact of the pandemic, the Apex Bank unveiled a number of measures that could offer great leverage for all. The CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, explains what the bank has started doing to ensure the realization of the set goal.
The Central Bank of Nigeria unveiled a couple of stimulus packages, either to the health sectors, to the SME and the households, to say, look, if you are directly or indirectly impacted, take advantage, and that there are some little facilities available for you in the banking industry for you to get your business running again. Are you in the health sector? Do you want to go back into your pharmaceutical formulations? Do you want to set up hospitals again? Can we avoid a situation where instead of importing these items, indeed those countries where these items were being imported have locked their borders and said they will not allow those items to be exported from their country? So are we going to continue like this? What if this continues? How are we going to protect ourselves from this kind of situation, even both now and in the future? And so that's why we said that there is a need for us to put in place a facility, the health package, about 100 billion, and also for the manufacturing sector, about 1 trillion naira, which companies and entrepreneurs should take advantage of to see how we can grow our industries, create jobs on our people, and reduce the adverse consequences of the health and economic crisis on our people and on our country.
But what did the Apex Bank and indeed the Governor, Godwin Emefiele, find out after about 2 months of floating the initiative?
And we found out after 8 weeks that those applications are not coming as fast as we thought. And that's why we thought calling the banks is important to hear from them. And we heard from them. So we also called in some of the companies in the health sector. They have come in and they have raised issues which we are dealing with. Of course, naturally, we do know from the bankers committee, we are also resolved that there is a need for a lot of advocacy for people to know that these facilities are in place and that the banks are ready to support these initiatives. We went on to the manufacturing. So what are we saying? The essence of this is to say that Nigeria has one opportunity to reset again and to say that as we start a new journey towards development, towards economic industrialization of a country, that Nigeria should join the race. And perhaps this is a good opportunity for us to see through that we prepare ourselves as a country in Africa, the largest economy, to get our manufacturing sectors to work, to get our banking sectors to work efficiently to support economic growth and development, so that by the time African Continental Free Trade Zone arrangement comes on stream, Nigeria will be adequately prepared.
Then let's talk about the criteria for obtaining the loan. The CBN Director in charge of Development Finance, Mr. Yusuf Yali, is our guide.
Okay, so there are two groups of applications that have been set out in the guideline. There's one for the households and there's one for the small businesses. For the households, you can access up to 3 million naira. I'll give you an example. Somebody who's lost his job, he can't afford to feed his family. He really just needs to go to the portal. He applies. He gives us a guarantor. He gives the NMFB a guarantor. Provides his BVN, and then if he's successful, he gets a disbursement based on the criteria that the NMFB has set out. For the small businesses, you typically would show your cash flow as part of your business plan, provide some element of collateral. It might be a personal guarantee, it might be a title document, and very easy, the disbursement is done. Everything is done online. It's transparent. You don't need to know anybody in the NMFB or in the central bank. You just simply apply. It's looked at on its merits, and then the disbursement is done. Personal guarantee for individuals, typically it can be a cleric, it can be a religious leader, it can be a civil servant for state, minimum level 10, for federal minimum level 8. It can be your community leader, or he just needs to provide the guarantee, and then you quickly can access the facility that has been set out.
Issues around collateral are some of the impediments most people do face in accessing funds such as this. Let's hear the explanation from Mr. Yusuf Yali.
The NMFB will take movable collateral that is registered with the National Collateral Registry as a collateral. For those who are doing households, a personal guarantee is sufficient. For SMEs, a title document. It can be a movable collateral, it can be a car, it can be animals, it can be something that we can register. And remember, the National Collateral Registry has registered over 1 trillion naira worth of collateral in the registry. So movable collateral is acceptable to the National Microfinance Bank.
According to Mr. Yali, the stringent measures have been brought down to allow more access to the fund.
What the governor has done is to try as much as possible to encourage them to apply. And working with the Bankers Committee, we've not been too stringent, and the guidelines for the real sector support facility already exist. And it's the only way that you can create employment and stimulate growth. So they're not too stringent. The ones that we've seen and we've received, they almost will meet the criteria for those businesses that are existing. Like I said, the single-digit interest rate, you can't get that anywhere. And typically, the way the real sector support facility works is the banks usually do their due diligence, get their credit committees to approve the credit and send it to us. So a lot of background work has already been done by the banks. So the CBN is really looking at, indeed, these credits, will they create jobs? Will they, achieve the target objectives that we've set? And once that is done, we'll quickly approve that and we'll disperse that. So I don't think the conditions that have been set out in the guidelines are stringent enough. If they're stringent enough, we would not have gotten those applications that are up to 31 billion out of the 100 billion already.
Fortunately, CBN started disbursement of 50 billion naira COVID-19 intervention fund about 3 weeks ago. The Nigeria Incentive-Based Risk Sharing System for Agricultural Lending, NISAL Microfinance Bank, on behalf of the Central Bank of Nigeria, commenced the disbursement of the fund to targeted credit facility to the beneficiaries. The managing director of NISAL Microfinance Bank, Mr. Abubakar Kure, said at the launch in Abuja that 3,256 MSMEs were among the first batch of the beneficiaries of the disbursement.
This is Money and Economy on your radio.
Now I have joining me via the telephone Professor Uche Uwaleke of the Banking and Finance Department, Nasarawa State University, KEFI. Good evening and thanks for joining us on the program today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, Prof, we must understand that most of the people that are greatly affected by the lockdown fall among those who may not be able to put a document together. I mean, the micro businesses, and as such may not get it. What do we do in such a scenario?
Yes, I agree with you. If you talk about small business, of course, there are categories of small businesses. You have the one-man show, which we have all over the place. And you also have people employing maybe 2, 3, 4 people, maybe even up to 10 people. Okay, they are micro businesses. The major challenge these businesses have, of course, has to do with record keeping. They don't keep records. So if you're asking them to, come up with a lot of paperwork before they can access the loans, it becomes pretty difficult. Now, the 50 billion naira the central bank has set aside, as you are aware, is being disbursed through the NISAL Microfinance Bank. And initially, there were hiccups. We had complaints about people saying they were asked to get some money before the applications could even be considered. But I'm happy that that matter was resolved. The bank itself came out to say that nobody should pay any money to file any application. Initially, too, that was in connection with the issue of a business plan. Because it's a credit facility, it's not a grant, the bank would, of course, want to be sure that that money will come back. It was on that premise that the bank put the requirement for business plan. And, of course, it makes sense. Otherwise, the entire money will be taken as maybe grants by the beneficiaries. So the bank would want to be sure, looking at the cash flows of the businesses, that they will be in a position to repay. And that was why that condition was put there. So I understand that a lot of applications have come in and the bank itself is processing them. Of course, at the end of the day, the entire thing will move to the central bank for approval. And once the central bank approves, they will begin to get such facilities. But this, just as you rightly mentioned, may be for, if you like, small enterprises. They may be the ones that will be able to access these funds. The one-man businesses you find all over the place, whether it's the barber that is somewhere doing his work, or a vulcanizer, or a roadside person, they may not really have access to these kinds of facilities, given the conditions attached. Talking about providing a guarantor, you have to get a business plan, you have to look at your cash flow. And I have said, if they don't have records of anything at all, it will be difficult for them to get any paperwork, even if you're engaging a consultant for that kind of person. And of course, if you engage a consultant, that makes the entire thing more expensive.
So what then do we do?
That's the point where I'm headed now. There has to be a way of also assisting these people. And if you now look at it critically, the government too, on its own part, can come in to fill the void. The government has a stimulus package for, again, the vulnerable groups. The social intervention schemes are on, the cash transfer programs are on. It is now to find a way to accommodate these people such that the cash transfers can capture them. And of course, you increase the size of what you're giving. So if you're giving 5,000, 10,000 to a vulnerable person, okay, now these one-man businesses can also be assisted one way or the other. They need direct cash.
All right, Prof, before I let you go, in a few seconds, your parting words.
I also want to say this because we seem to be forgetting that part of why we have not really had a food shortage in this period is because of the efforts of the central bank in the past. In the area of agriculture, we have had grains this period. The federal government was even able to also release grains from the reserves, and that's because of the support the central bank has been giving to the agri sector, especially through the Anchor Borrower program, which is why today we can be talking about near self-sufficiency in rice production. And the restriction to the central bank had for assessing forex by people importing these products also helped, because that restriction also meant that a lot of people now went in to produce these commodities within. So I must commend the measures taken by the central bank before now to stimulate food production in the country. This is what is helping to stabilize the situation as it were now. But in the area of the interventions, I would want to see a situation where a lot more people that are really affected have access to these facilities, and if possible, to see how these conditions can also be lowered and made easier for them to access. That is not in doubt at all, that there are households today that are really, really hard hit, but who may not be able to have access because of the conditions that have been attached. But again, it's important to realize that what the central bank has to be giving out is a loan, a soft loan, and not a dash. Unlike that of the federal government that is meant to be a grant, the conditional cash transfer is not a loan. So if there is a way to capture these people within that basket, the basket of cash transfer, the grant, because that's actually what they need. They don't need a loan. If you give a household that is affected now a loan, you are merely postponing the household's problem. So what they actually need is grants. Households usually are associated with consumption. Households consume, businesses produce. So it is production that you give loan. You use loan for production. You don't use loan for consumption. So loans are not actually meant for households. What a household needs is palliative, a grant, something that the person can use to get through this turbulent or difficult period.
Thank you very much, Professor Uche Uwaleke of the Banking and Finance Department, Nasarawa State University, KEFI.
Thank you too. My pleasure.
Up next is Business and Financial Report with Harriet Parkinson. Harriet.
Well, thank you, Abdul, and thank you for joining us. Here is the Week in Review. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has urged industrial conglomerates in the country to support efforts aimed at growing the nation's economy. Speaking at a virtual meeting with chief executive officers of conglomerates in Nigeria, the governor of the Apex Bank, Godwin Emefiele, said the CBN was determined to return the nation's economy to the era when the manufacturing and agricultural sectors formed the base of the economy. He also cautioned that the CBN would not support importation of items that could be produced in the country and would not spend foreign exchange reserves on ventures that would not boost the economy and generate jobs for Nigerians. While acknowledging the challenge of low crude oil prices to major global economies, Emefiele expressed confidence that the price of crude would not remain at low levels for a long period. He stated that the low crude oil price was surmountable, pointing out that Nigeria's foreign reserves of about $37 billion remained robust to support the local economy. The CBN governor therefore enjoined the conglomerates to key into the current administration's drive of diversifying the economy by taking advantage of Nigeria's large population to market their products. In another development, the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has agreed to fund part of the evacuation costs for Nigerians abroad. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Jeffrey Onyama, who gave this information at the daily Presidential Task Force briefing on COVID-19 in Abuja, said the agreement involved providing money for the accommodation of the evacuees on arrival in Nigeria. He said over 600 evacuees were now in Lagos and Abuja and that the process would be staggered to give some space before bringing more returnees into the country. Mr. Onyama said there were still many Nigerians outside waiting for evacuation and given assurance that they would be airlifted, where those on the ground must have been taken care of. And straight to stock news, the bulls continue to outweigh the bears on the equity sector of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, NSE, as more blue chip stocks appreciated, causing the all-share index, ASI, to rise further by 1.25%. Specifically, at the close of transactions today, ASI increased by 306.16 absolute points, a gain of 1.25% to close at 24,758.39 points. Similarly, the market capitalization rose by 160 billion naira to close at 12.903 trillion naira. The uptrend was impacted by gains recorded in large and medium valued stocks. Amongst them are Zenith Bank, EcoCup PLC, FBN Holdings, Guarantee Trust Bank, and Lafarge Africa PLC. 11 PLC, that is Mobile Nigeria, recorded the highest price gain of 9.95% to close at 195 naira 5 kobo. BUA Cement followed with a 9.88% to close at 35 naira 6 kobo per share. On the other hand, Flour Mill led the laggers, losing 4.76% to close at 20 naira per share. Abico PLC followed, losing 9.91% to close at 2 naira 9 kobo per share. A turnover of 350.765 million shares valued at 3.706 billion naira was traded in 5,239 deals. Transactions in the shares of Zenith Bank topped the activity chart with 57.421 million shares at 961.398 million naira. On the CBN exchange market, the US dollar exchanges for 361 naira, the pound sterling exchanges for 441 naira 53 kobo, while the euro goes for 397 naira 13 kobo. Inflation rate is 12.2%, while monetary policy rate remains 13.5%. That's the weekend review. It's back to you, Abdul, for the rest of the program. My name is Harriet Parkinson. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you very much, Harriet, for the news. Now, remember, you can be a part of this conversation. Send a message via SMS or WhatsApp. The number 0812-541-9549, 0812-541-9549. You can also tweet at us. The handle is at Gado Agency. Use hashtag Money and the Economy and hashtag CBN. We'll expect to hear from you. For more information, kindly visit www.cbn.gov.ng. Our quiz for this week is next. What is the name of the microfinance bank assigned to do the disbursement of the MSMEs and Household Intervention Loan from the Central Bank of Nigeria? What is the name of the microfinance bank assigned to do the disbursement of the MSMEs and Household Intervention Loan from the Central Bank of Nigeria? Send your answer to the number 0812-541-9549, 0812-541-9549. The first correct answer wins our gift for the week. Thank you.
This is Money and Economy on your radio.
The winner of last week's quiz is Paul Okparugo from Enugu. Congratulations, Paul. We'll contact you for your prize. And that's our show for today. Money and the Economy is a production of Gado Agency Limited, sponsored by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. Voices in our drama were those of Blessed Arulayo, Ndubisi Ikbara, and Daniel Johnson. Godwin Odemije produced, assisted by John Chukuma and Ayo Babatunde. I'm Abdul Fattah Otori. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay safe and Barka de Salah.